So in today's class, we'll see the concept of scope and lifetime. Scope and lifetime. Scope means, we can simply say that availability. Availability. Lifetime is a word related to period. Period. I mean, what I'm saying is, right understood. Scope means, like, we can define the scope and lifetime. We can define with respect to variables concept. Variables concept. So in Java, what we are going to do? We are going to write a class followed by class name CSC, and we are going to define int a. It is what? It is a kind of instance variable. I am writing something like static int b. It is a kind of static variable. It's a kind of static variable. Now, for example, I have written some method here once again. Why? Something like, so for example, let me write like online. Online, I have defined int x. This is what variable? This is what? Local variable. As I know, I hope you already know the meaning of instant, static, and local variables, which I have defined in the previous classes. Yes, fine. So, if this variable, int a variable, scope is what? I can able to access over the package. I can able to access over the package. Why I am saying? Because the scope of this variable a is defined based upon its corresponding access specifier. What is the corresponding access specifier of integer variable a? As we didn't mention anything, the compiler will treat it as a default. The compiler will treat it as default. So when compiler treat it as default, can I able to use in other classes or not? Yes, I can able to use that int a variable in other class of the same package. So meaning that, so the availability of variable a is over the classes of the same package. The availability of the variable a is the classes of the same package. Something like class civil. Here also I can access. That represents availability. So the scope of the variable a is over the entire classes. What about the static int b? So how we are going to define scope? Based upon access specifier. What is access specifier? As we didn't mention anything, it is also default. So it can also access over the entire classes. What about the scope of the variable? X? So the variable x is what? Local variable whose scope is within the block. I mean, what I can say that if I try to write something like, okay, I you know already, right? System.out.println. If I'm trying to write system.out.println of x, what will happen here? Can anybody answer? You will get an error. Why you are getting an error? Because the scope of the variable x is limited to over this block only. I mean, the availability of variable x can be available over this block only. It cannot be available outside of this block. So that is the reason we are getting here error. I mean, if we conclude the point of scope simply defines in which area, in which part of the program the corresponding variable is available. the corresponding variable is available. If it is an instance, where we are going to access. If it is static, where we are going to access. If we are going to define where we are going to, if we are going to define like a local variable, where we can access that, in which location it is available. That is what defines the scope of a variable. The scope of a variable. Okay, now coming to the word lifetime. Lifetime. Lifetime means simply, we can simply say that it's a kind of period, right? What is the lifetime of a person? Lifetime of a person. Lifetime of a person is, once he born, he may live. I mean, let us assume that a maximum of 90 years. I'm not restricted, but in present days we are restricting to. So human life is between 0 to 90 years. For example, that defines lifetime. So what I can say that, once I declared a variable, what you are all going to do? You are all going to create an object. You are all going to create an object through the concept of, by using the keyword new keyword. By using the keyword new keyword. Once I created an object for a class, the next thing our JVM is going to do is, it is going to create memory space for the variables. Memory space for the variables. Am I right or not? But the difference is, guys, I have already explained this one. That is why I am defining fast. Because here instance variables memory is created for each and every object. For each and every object. What about static variable? Static variable memory will be created for only one time. Local variable memory is created whenever method calls. Whenever method calls. Okay, fine. Now tell me. So lifetime defines పుట్టిన తర్వాత. I mean, in simple words, if say in Telugu, పుట్టిన కాడి నుంచి చనిపోయేంత వరకు. పుట్టిన కాడి నుంచి చనిపోయేంత వరకు we can simply define it as lifetime. ఇప్పుడు ఇది వేరియబుల్ ఏ కి మెమరీ ఎప్పుడు పుట్టిందమ్మా? The memory allocation of the memory is started once I created an object. The allocated for instance variable, the memory allocated for instance variable is started once I created an object. The memory allocated for static variable is started at what? Once the class loader subsystem loads dot class file from secondary memory to primary memory. I have already explained this one clearly. So memory will be created. And when the memory will be created for local variable, whenever a method will be called. So this is starting. And class loader subsystem call చేసినప్పుడు starting, and method call చేసినప్పుడు కూడా ఇది స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. సో పుట్టినప్పుడు చెప్పాను. When it is going to end? When the allocated memory is going to end? Whenever corresponding object destroyed. Whenever corresponding object destroyed, automatically the created memory will be deallocated. What about static? Static memory allocated is destroyed once your entire program terminates. But whereas instance for each and every object is going to create. What about local variable? Once the control exits this block, see guys, straight understood. Once the control exits this block, automatically memory will be deallocated. So that defines lifetime. Guys, if anybody asks what is the difference between scope and lifetime, you have to explain clearly. That is my main motto here, to explain these simple terms, scope and lifetime. Okay, fine. So okay, you go for writing. So all the variables, right? Instance variables are there, static variables are there, and local variables are there. And coming to scope and lifetime. See, tell me, instance variable scope is where? Instance variable scope The scope of the instance variable is throughout the class. Is throughout the class. What about static method? The scope of the static method is throughout the class. What about local variable scope? I can able to access only within the block. I cannot access outside the block. So local variable scope is within the block. Within the block. Where we declare. ఎక్కడైతే declare చేసామో అక్కడ మాత్రమే access అవుతుంది. What about lifetime? Lifetime of instance variable is until object available in memory. Until object available in memory. మెమరీ ఎప్పుడు దాకా అయితే అవైలబుల్ ఉంటుందో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కి అప్పుడు దాకా అవుతుంది. మెమరీ ఎప్పుడు డెస్ట్రాయ్ అవుతుంది? వన్స్ వి డెస్ట్రాయిడ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్. Until object available memory, the instance variable lifetime is exist. What about static variables? Until end of the program. End of the program. That means program terminate ayente varaku untundi. Yes. What about the lifetime of local variables? Once the control exits this block, automatically memory will be destroyed. I mean, I can say that until the control leaves the block. Control leaves the block, automatically the allocated memory will be destroyed. Automatically the allocated memory will be destroyed. Yes. So this is what all about the concept of scope and lifetime of a variable. Okay, fine. Yes, Sunil, X is available only within online method only. Sir, when the object will be destroyed. If you are going to destroy, then automatically destroyed. Or else, if you are not using that, see, object epudu destroy avutundamma. I mean, whenever, right? Objects are rastam public static void main string args. Objects generally destroy like CSC C equal to new CSC rastar. It won't destroy throughout this main method. But once this method exits, automatically this objects is destroyed. That is what I said, right? If you are going to define something in methods, those we call it as local. So those are all going to destroy once it exits that method. So whenever this method exits, automatically the created variables or the created objects all are going to destroy. So who is taking the responsibility? Garbage collector is going to take care of that responsibility. Or else we'll have a method, that method is clear method. If you write explicitly clear method also, it will deallocate that memory. Ganesh, is it okay? Yes. Yes. Okay. Next, we'll see simple concept which you already know. So as part of syllabus completion, I need to define, right? Operators. So operators means which perform operation on over the operands, right? The constant definition from C language also we are defined. So which performs some kind of operation over the operands. Okay. So what are the operands? All the variables we can call it as operands. All the constant values, all we call it as operands. So various kind of operators are there. One is arithmetic operators. I will go fast, ma. Arithmetic operators, something like comparison operators. Okay. Or else logical operators, bitwise operators, assignment operators. These are the various kind of operators are there in every programming language, not only in Java. In every programming, these are all common. Yes, arithmetic operators are going to perform various kind of arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modular division, post increment, I mean increment operator, decrement operators, all these will come under arithmetic operator, meaning that arithmetic operators are going to perform arithmetic operations over binary operators as well as unary operators. Okay, fine. So I mean a plus plus. So I can perform like this, right? Yes, or else b minus minus. I can perform like this, etc. These are all various kind of arithmetic operators. Next, comparison operators. All the comparison operators like which are going to perform comparison over two operands: less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, or double equal to. All this will come under comparison. Meaning that if you want to perform comparison, we must and should require two kind of operands. Two kind of operands. That operands can be a constant or a variables also. Next, logical operators. Logical operators means mm, logical or is there, logical and is there, logical not is there. All this will comes under logical operator. Meaning that to check two expressions, then we go for logical operators. I mean, see here, A or B. The meaning is that if at least one is true, the result is true. I mean, if both of them are false, then only the result is false. This is the meaning of logical or. Logical or. And means A and B. When both are true, then only my result is true. Then only my result is true. In all the cases, remaining is false. In all the cases, remaining is false. You can see when both are false, the result only false. In all the remaining cases, the result is true. Here, when both are true, the result is true. In all the remaining cases, the result is false. And not means you are going to get reverse. If you give the input true, you will get false. If you give the input false, you will get answer is true. Answer is true. So mainly used for where you are going to use these logical operators while you are performing some kind of condition checking. I mean, if age of person is greater than 18 and age of person is less than 24 or some other age or like something like 22, I can say that he is a BTech graduate. He's studying BTech. But like assume, right? So the meaning is it has to satisfy the two conditions. The age of that person should be greater than 18 and the age of that person should be less than 22. Guys, these are all I'm defining over for rough idea only because you already know. Yes. So when both are true, then only this program is going to display it as BTech. Otherwise, it is going to display it as not BTech based upon our program. Yes. Fine. Next one, bitwise operators. So whenever we are going to perform bitwise operations over operands, what will happen? It is going to converted every constant or every variable value into binary numbers, binary values. It's going to convert binary. So what are the various kind of bitwise operators? And, or, not, etc. All will comes under like XOR or some various kind of bitwise operators are there. And, or, XOR, all this will comes under right shift, left shift, all will comes under bitwise operators. Bitwise and means like for example, I am giving 5 and 2. 5 and 2. What first it is going to do? It is going to first convert into binary format. Binary format of 5 is 101, 2 is 010. So what if you perform AND operation? AND operation when both are true, then only the result is true. 1 means true, 0 means false. False, I mean 0, 0, 0, and my result is 0. So 5 and 2 is the result is 0. Similarly, 5 or 2, 101, 010, you will get 111. So the result is 7. The result is 7. XOR 5 XOR 2. So XOR and ఏంటమ్మా? So guys, in this semester you are studying the concept of DLD, right? In DLD you will get all this. XOR means when both are true, when both having same value, then the result is false. When both are different, one is true, another is false, or one is false, another is true, you are going to get the result as true. 5 and 2. First 5 is converted to 1 0 1 0 1 0. What 1 and 0 is different, right? Both are different. Then the result is true. 1 different. Result is 1 different. Result is 1. So you will get the value 7. So 5x or 2, it is 7. Or else, 10 and let me take 8 2, right? Yes. 10 and 3. 10 XR with 3. 10 అంటే రాసుకోవచ్చు 1010 3 అంటే 0011. So 01, what will happen? 01, both are different, so the result is true. Both are same, the result is 0. Both are same, result is 0. Both are different, result is 1. So what is the value? 8 plus 1 9. So 10 XR with 3, you will get the value 9. You get the value 9. Similarly, right shift and left shift, guys, these one first 3 and last one you already know. Bitwise operator, let me get confused, right? So that is why I'm explaining. Right shift. Right shift means you can shift the values towards, you can shift the binary values towards n number of digits. You can shift the values towards left shift n number of digits. So whenever you write like this, the meaning is shift the digits by one place. Shift the digits by one place. Whenever you write the value, shift the digits towards left by one place. If you write the value like this, shift the digits by towards right side two places. If you write like this, shift the bits, shift the values, shift the binary values towards left with three locations. I mean, if you take example 5 right shift 1, 5 right shift 1. So what is the corresponding value of 5? 101. So for this result, what I need to do? I need to right shift by 1. Right shift by 1 means I need to shift the values which are in binary format by one place. If I shift, what will happen? First place value will be discarded. First place value will be discarded. And second place value will becomes to first position, that is 0. And third place value will comes to second position, that is 0. And what about this value? There is no value, so we'll get 0 1 0. So what is the 5 right shift by 1? 0 1 0, that is you will get the value 2. Nice. I'm going a little bit fast. For example 10 రాసుకోవచ్చు 1 0 1 0. That I would like to shift by 1 second 1. What I am going to do? I am going to shift right. If I shift the first bit, there is no place, so I will discard. And if I shift the second position value to where? First position. Third digit to second place. Fourth digit to third place. And what value you will get here in the fourth digit place? If you have fifth digit, you will get value 0. But you don't have anything, so you will get right as 0. So 0 1 0 1 is the answer. 0 1 0 1 means 4 plus 1 5. Similarly, if write same thing, 10 means 1 0 1 0 left shift by 1. I mean, what you are going to do? You are going to shift this first digit towards the second place. 0 first digit ఏముంటుందమ్మా కంపల్సరీ 0 ఉంటుంది. సెకండ్ డిజిట్ ఏ ప్లేస్ లో పోస్ట్ చేస్తాము? థర్డ్ ప్లేస్ లో పోస్ట్ చేస్తాం, అంటే 1 ఇక్కడికి వస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ థర్డ్ డిజిట్ లో ఉన్నది ఇక్కడికి వస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఫోర్త్ డిజిట్ డిస్కార్డ్ చేస్తాం. సో 0 1 0 0 is the answer. 0 0 0. So 4 is the answer for left shift of a value by 1. So this is all about various kind of bitwise operators. Next, coming to assignment operators. These assignment operators you are going to use along with all the above operators. Like you can write assignment operator which we are going to assign a value to the some variable. We are going to assign, right? Assigning means copying the value from one place to another place. We can simply say something like I am writing like this, int a equal to 5. Int a equal to 5. What's the meaning of this one? I am assigning 5 to the variable a. Assigning 5 to the variable a, meaning that while performing assignment operator, first it is going to execute right side expression. That right side expression result is going to copy it into left side expression. So one of the assignment operator is equal to operator. So with this equal to operator, if you combine with all any one of the 4 operators, we can call it as, that comes under assignment operator, like plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, or division equal to, bitwise and equal to, bitwise XR equal to, etc. Anything we can call. Like for example, let me try it like directly. So plus equal to 1 direct తెలుసు కదా మీకు 5 or else suppose for example int a equal to 5, I will write a XR equal to 1. A XR equal to 1. What's the meaning of this one? So we can write the same thing like a equal to a XR 1. A equal to a XR 1. I mean చూడండి a plus plus అన్న a equal to a plus 1 అన్న రెండిటికి same meaning for the right time ఈ టైంలో. But whenever you are performing combined with some kind of operation, it may yield different result. But here these two having same value. So a XR with 1. A XR with 1 means a value is 5. 5 XR with 1. What is 5 XR with 1? 5 value is 101. 1 means 001. Same 001. 100. So you will get the value 4. 4. That value will be updated to 4. I mean the right side value you will get as 4. That 4 will be copied to where? Again here. So here our answer is, I mean it is going to perform the expression first. That result is going to copy it into left side expression again. So you know already. Okay. But these are the various kind of operators. Okay. Next, let's see how to write, like why I am writing like this. For that, you need to know the concept of arrays. So the basic definition which you know, so these are all basic concepts. Arrays means a collection of similar elements. Similar elements means a collection of homogeneous elements. Homogeneous elements. So collection of, we can say that any kind of similar elements. Similar in the sense, similar in the point of similarity, in the point of their some kind of characteristics. So for example, similarity in the form of primitive data types, like a collection of integer variables, a collection of float variables, a collection of double variables. Those are all we call it as arrays. Those are all we call it as arrays, right? So an array is a collection of integer elements, meaning that all elements having integer data type only. A collection of homogeneous, all elements having float data type, all elements having double data type. Double data type. Or we can say with respect to objects also. We can say with respect to objects. I mean, what I can say that is, this array is a collection of elements. Is a collection of elements. Those elements can be a primitive data types or user defined data types. User defined data types. I mean, instead of saying that it's user defined data types, I can conclude that objects, because objects having physical existence. So it's a collection of similar elements. That similar elements can be either a primitive data type or an object also. Object also. Okay. Primitive data types and which we already know, right? Byte, integer, float, double, etc. Objects means, so for every class we are going to create an object. For every class we are going to create an object. So those objects we are going to store in arrays. What kind of the objects we are going to store? These objects should be similar objects. These objects should be similar objects. Similar objects in sense, I can write like class CSC. Class CSC. Assume that I have created an object CSC C1 equal to new CSC. New CSC. And there is one more class ECE, and I have created an object for ECE E1 equal to new ECE. New ECE. Guys, can you say that C1 is an object, right? Yes, E1 is an object. Am I right or not? Both C1 and E1 are object, but these two are similar. No, wrong, because this is a separate class and this is a separate class object. So whatever the objects that are created with the CSC class, those are all similar objects, and what are the objects that were created over the ECE class, those are all similar objects. Not similar. That is the meaning of collection of similar objects. Collection of similar objects means the objects which we created over the class CSC, or the objects which we are created over the class EC. Like for example, CSC C2 equals something new, CSC C3 equals something, CSC C4 equals something. So then I can write my array like this: C1, C2, C3, C4. Similarly, ECE, E2, ECE, E3, ECE, E4. Like this, all these I can write like this also. Right, like this. So collection of similar objects. So that definition you need to understand. So meaning that here extra thing is, here array can contain objects also. Objects also. That is the extra important point here. Yes, fine. So now you understood that what is the definition of an array. So let me explain how to declare an array in Java. Array in Java. So you can declare an array in Java like a normal variable. See, normal variable declaration. How we are going to declare a normal variable? Int, I mean data type, followed by variable name. Similarly, array also declare in the same way. Array also declare in the same way, but extra thing is like int a variable followed by parameters. This is an array. This is an array. So I can say that what is syntax of creating an array? Data type followed by, so there I am saying that variable name. Here I am going to say that array name followed by square brackets. So this is where this is the declaration of an array. Declaration of array. Or the same thing I can write like this: data type square brackets array name. Or I can write the same thing: data type space square brackets array name. So these are the three ways that we can declare an array. So that is what we have declared here. See, I can write the square parenthesis after the array name, or I can write the square parenthesis after the data type, or I can write the square parenthesis before array name also. So this array name is for just for what? Just for reference only. I mean, if you want to perform future operations, we are going to perform through the array name, right? Yes. Okay. So this is what all about declaration of an array. Then how to store the values? So if you want to store the values, what we need to do? We need to instantiate that object. We need to instantiate that array. Guys, tell me what do you mean by instantiation? ఎక్కడో చెప్పినట్టు గుర్తుందా? Sunil, I will explain. Explain left shift for 10, left shift by 2. స్నేహలత ఏం రాశారమ్మా? బేబీ QR1 ఏంటి? సార్ ఇట్స్ మిస్టేక్. అది కూడా మళ్ళీ మిస్టేక్ రాశారు. ఓకే, ఫైన్. Can anybody answer for my question? Instantiation అంటే చెప్తారా? Nobody. Instantiation means allocating memory, right? Object is an instance of a class antam. Allocating sufficient of a memory. So whenever you declare an array, no memory will be created. Only reference will be created. So when the memory will be created whenever we instance an array. So how we are going to instance that array? With respect to reference name. I mean, how we are going to create memory with the help of keyword, new keyword, followed by data type of size. This defines creation of memory space for a so and so data type with so and so size. But if you want to use it for again and again, then we need to declare some name. We need to declare some name. That name is a reference name. Array name equal to new data type of size. What I'm saying is here, tell me, see, how to create an array of size 10 elements. Let me write example int A. The meaning is A is an array which is going to store what? Integer elements. For this, I am going to instantiate new int of 10 elements. 10 elements. So meaning that what is happening here? This A is an array. So for that, it is going to allocate how many memory locations? 10 locations. So index starts with 1, 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on until 9. So the name of the array is A. So this is what. So it is a collection. It contains what? Array declaration along with instantiation. So how we have instantiated an array? Through the keyword new keyword. Guys, why I have written it in the form of two syntaxes? There is syntax 1 and syntax 2. So this is declaration, this is instantiation. So the int a of, the same thing I can write like this, int a of, first declare it. Then I am going to create memory space using new int of 10. Then for that I am going to give name, right? That name is A. So this is the concept. So that is why I have defined it in the form of two syntaxes. Okay, fine. So how to insert elements in an array? Through the concept of through the array name, right? So if you write like A of 0 equal to 5, if it is an integer, A of 1 equal to 6, and so on. Like this we can like once I created a memory, then in that memory I can access and I can store some values and I can perform some kind of operations over here. Yes. So in the previous, like here, I said how to declare and how to instantiate. But let me write the syntax where we are going to declare, we are going to instantiate, and we are going to initialize the values. One minute. We are going to initialize the value. Simply what we can do, we are going to declare an array int a of equal to, then I will simply define within the flower branches 1, 2, 3, 4 something, some values, whichever values you require, those values I will. So the meaning of this one is A is an integer array, and it contains how many values? We didn't define any number of values, right? So that value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It starts with index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to access the value 3, how we are going to access? Through the index, right? A of 2, so that you will get the value 3. If you want to access the value 5, you can write like A of 4. Similarly, if you want to modify the value 4, then I can write A of 3 equal to sum 10. This is where what will happen. Okay, so these arrays can be of again multiple. One is single dimensional arrays and another is multi-dimensional arrays. Single dimensional arrays and multi-dimensional arrays. So how we are going to declare multi-dimensional arrays? Same, the syntax is same, but the extra thing is we need to add a parameter. We need to add like square branches. So general way is data type, array name, followed by a single dimensional array. If it is a multi-dimensional means if it is a two-dimensional array. Multi means I am going to assume that it is a two-dimensional array. Then I will declare like this. Or the same thing I can write in another way. Data type, double parenthesis, array name. Array name. Like this you can write. So for example, how we are going to instantiate? If I instantiate like this, int like this, array name equal to the same single dimension syntax, new int of 3 by 3. What is the meaning of this one? We are going to create an array. We are going to create an array with how many rows and how many columns? First one represents row and second one represents columns. 3 by 3 matrix రాస్తాం. ఓకేనా? సో ఇప్పుడు 3 by 3 matrix కి ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేయాలంటే ఎలా చేయాలమ్మా? I need to access the input dynamically or I can go for assigning statically. సో statically assign చేస్తే ఎలా చేస్తాను సింపుల్ గా int array of multi-dimensional, that is two-dimensional array equal to, first I will write same madinlage 1 2 3 first parameter, first row, second row something like 2 4 5, third row something like 1 2 7. That's it. So first row contains 3 columns, second row contains 3 columns, third row contains 3 columns. So finally it is going to represent in the form of an array, right? 1 2 3 2 4 5 1 2 7. So this way you are going to, like, I mean in Java we can use the concept of multi-dimensional array also. Okay, now fine. For example, yes, for example, let me want to find the length of the array. Find the length of array. Find the length of the array. What we can do? For example, let me take in C language. In C language, what we are going to do? In C language, we are going to use a method called size of method. Size of method. Size of method. What size of we can pass array name, size of the entire array, and we are going to calculate size of corresponding data type, so that we will get some result. That result is the length of the array. That result is the length of the array. Similarly, in C++ also the same process. But coming to Java, if you want to find the length of the array, there is one implicit variable is there. That implicit variable is length variable. Length variable. I mean, length is a predefined variable. Length is a predefined. We can say that instead of saying that it is a variable, we can say that it is a predefined keyword. Predefined keyword which is to find the total number of elements present in an array. The total number of elements present in an array. I mean, for example, int of equal to 1 2 3. 1 2 3. If you want to find the length of the array, what you can use? You can use the length keyword along with array name. I mean, if I write like a dot length, what the value you will get? 3. The value you will get 3. Like for example, int a of or int b of equal to 10 20 30 40 50 60. Then if you want to find the length of the array, then we will simply write b dot length. Meaning that in Java it is a very simple process to find out the total number of elements present in an array. If you use the keyword length keyword, then directly you will get the total number of elements. How many number of elements are there? 3 plus 3 6. 6 elements are there. Yes. Okay, fine. So guys, if you are something like, what are the advantages of this array? You already seen the concepts of linked list, right? In data structures, we have already defined what are the advantages of arrays, what are the drawbacks of arrays over the linked list. All this we have seen. So one of the advantages of arrays is we can able to access the elements randomly. That is, random access is possible. Random access is possible. What is disadvantage? Disadvantage, size is limited. So this is the drawback. That drawback we can overcome through only the concept of linked list. Okay, na? Yes. So if you have any doubts up to here, you can ask me. In arrays, see, there are various kind of if you want, if you are going to explain, you will get a lot of concept is there, like that already you know, which we covered. I am only the teacher for like data structures, right? So you can understood, we already defined all those concepts in data structures also. Okay, na? So how to access the elements, how to modify the elements, to display all the elements in an array, what we need to do. So to display all the elements in an array, what we need to do, we need to first we need to display and we need to iterate that process continuously until like total number of elements present in array. So ఎన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనేది ఎలా ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తాం, హౌ కెన్ వి ఐడెంటిఫై హౌ మెనీ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఆర్ దేర్ ప్రెజెంట్ ఇన్ an array through the concept of length keyword. The concept of length keyword. And here important thing is there is one more array, that kind of array we can call it as a jagged array. Zigzag and idea on the jagged array. Jagged array means an array with different number of columns. Different number of columns, we can call it as a jagged array. Jagged array. I mean, let me take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9. This is an what? Multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array. So different number of columns and first column lo 3 elements unnai, second column lo 3 elements unnai, third column lo 2 elements unnai, fourth column lo 1 element undi. Meaning that if an array with different number of columns, we can call it as jagged array. Zigzag ante they won't have any fixed number of elements in every row. Like so let me write. If we are going to define like multi-dimensional array, int a of equal to new int of, I am not supposed to define the total number of present in rows and columns. Number of rows and number of columns నేను define చేయలేదం. Then the first row meaning that a of 0. A of 0 contains memory. New int of 3. What is the meaning of this one? First row, a of 0 means first row contains how many elements? 3 elements. The same structure I am writing here, 3 elements. Next, second row, I want to store how many elements? 4 elements. Int of 4. Int of 4. Next, a of 2 equal to new int of how many elements? 2 elements. 2 elements. So we can say that it is a kind of jagged array because first row contains 3 elements, second row contains 4 elements, third row contains 2 elements. If you take out the number of columns, column size, each column size, they are varying. We can call it as a jagged array. Okay, now, and there are some kind of arrays are there. Anonymous arrays are there. Anonymous arrays. Anonymous means they don't have any name. They don't have any name. If you don't have any name for an array, we can call it as arrays. So when we go for anonymous arrays, like for example, there is a method, some method called CSC. A method called CSC. So assume that this is a calling function. This is a calling function. There is a method which actually implemented here. Here, this is also some method. This is also some method, right? You already know this concept method. Here, what I can do, I can simply create that memory. I can simply create that memory with some values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there any name for this array? I have created a memory with the keyword new followed by integer array which contains the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one I can call it as anonymous arrays. So anonymous arrays means no name for arrays. I mean, just remember, these are all not important for exam point of view, but if you go for an interview, they may ask. These are the technical terms, that's it. Anonymous means we don't know the name of that array. So without giving name also, we can create an array, right? So this is an array which I have created while passing array to a method. Here, compulsory we require some kind of array name because to process this array data in this body of this CSC method, we need to compulsory give some name. So this one we can call it as anonymous arrays. Sometimes there is a concept called like you will get some kind of exception, array out of bounds exception. Array out of bounds exception. When you are going to get array out of bounds exception, can anybody answer? Index position exceeds. Very good, ma. When index position exceeds. So, like for example, there is an array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, you have printed 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you are trying to print the value which is printed in index array 4. Array of index 4 layer try print, then you will get array index out of bounds error. So, where you are going to get? Somewhere you miss some kind of logic, right? If you write like less than, there is no problem. Guys, try to analyze, try to make concept. If you are writing like less than or equal to, then definitely you will get an error. Because if you write like less than or equal to something, it is going to get what? 4 also. This is for your logical illusion. Okay. So sometimes if you are trying to access the elements which are out of scope also, then you will get array out of bounds. Okay, this is what all about arrays concept. Okay, here see the concept. Here I said that array is a collection of primitive data types. How we are going to create an array? Data type followed by array name followed by parameters. Similarly, objects also I can create. How we are going to create an object? We can create an object, same structure, user defined data type like object. So let us assume that user defined data type student like array name object name equal to new student of something like I'm writing 7. I mean, I can say here student is a user defined data type. Student is a user defined data type. I meaning that student is an user defined data type, and this array contains what kind of objects I can store? I can able to store the objects of the student class. Objects of the student class. I mean, what I can say that is here this array contains 7 memory locations. 7 memory locations. Each of size what? Each of size is an object, and we can able to store 7 objects of student. 7 objects of student class. 7 objects of student class. Okay, don't get confused. Like student S1 equal to new student, student S2 equal to new student, student S3 equal to new student. So all these references are going to store in here. Okay, don't get confused here. Object references are the concepts of objects, we are going to discuss the concept of constructors. In the concept of constructors, so our next class is constructors only. So in that class, you can understood how to store objects in arrays. Okay.